Hi, welcome to Networks Learning. My name is Riaz Gul. In today's video, we are going to see how you can configure role-based access control on Palo Alto Firewall. So we have Identity Service Engine version 3.3 running as OVA inside the ESXi host, which is deployed over here. And we have Palo Alto Firewall, which is connected to the physical network. And we are reaching over the management interface towards the ISE server. So basically, we will have some admin roles created on Palo Alto Firewall, and we will create the user database inside the Identity Service Engine, and we will map different admin roles based on the users or based on the access level of the user inside ISE server. So if a support user is trying to access the firewall, it should have only the basic monitoring tabs visible, and if a network engineer or security engineer is trying to access the firewall, it should have the predefined level of access based on what we configure over here in the admin roles. So we have already security admin profile pre-created on Palo Alto Firewall. We'll move on to the creation of a support profile over here with the name of support, and we will only provide basic monitoring tasks to this user, and we will disable rest of the configurational parts. Only the monitor things and monitor tabs will be visible. Policies we will disable: objects creation, network, devices, operations, privacy, validate, save, commit, task, global. All these tabs and all these configurational access will be disabled to this support role. So we can also manage API access, command line, REST APIs, but currently we are configuring it for the test purpose. So we are only considering the web user interface. You need to create admin roles based on your requirement. But here we are just demonstrating the lab environment. So that's why we have only one security admin role and one support. So once you create these profiles, then you need to define the TACACS profile. TACACS profile, inside that we need to define the ISE server. So this is ISE AAA. We will use the password authentication protocol. Here you need to define the name. It's Cisco ISE. Server address is 192.168.137.20. Secret would be the secret should be same on both devices. When we will add the firewall on Identity Service Engine, we will need this secret key. So make sure you remember it. Click OK. After creating TACACS profile, you need to move into the authentication profile. You need to create one authentication profile. Cisco AAA auth profile. Type we need to select as TACACS server profile ISE AAA. In advance, you need to allow all. That's it. Then you need to move on to the device setup. Authentication settings. Under authentication settings, you need to define the authentication profile, which we already created, Cisco AAA auth. Okay. And you need to commit the changes. That's it. So this is the firewall and configuration. And on ISE, I have already defined the parameters and the configurational part. So I'll show you the initial part, what you need to do and what you need to perform on ISE server. So first you need to create network access users. I have created two users. One is security admin with the name of security engineer. It's an internal user on ISE. I have created the password and it is part of one of the user groups called security engineers. The other user that we created is security support password, and it is part of security support staff. So you need to map users according to their groups. These groups are created in order to have a granular control inside the policies. When we will apply the policy, we will have the more flexibility to to deploy the policy and to make the relevant users access limited to what they are, or what they are used to access the end devices. So that's why I have created two users, and they are put into the two different identity groups. Then there is one more point. You need to add the device first. So in network access, or you can add devices over here. I have added one network device, which is the Palo Alto Firewall, and which is under the IP address 192.168.137.108. You can see over here, and it is part of you can define different locations. So inside my Peanut Lab, I can have multiple devices to be added over here. So inside Peanut Lab, I have some other locations called Palo Alto networks. So inside this, I have defined the firewall. So this is part of Palo Alto networks. So over here I have defined the TACACS authentication settings, which we created on Palo Alto Firewall. The same password is provided over here. Then you need to into the policy sets. Under device administration, we need to go into device administration and policy elements. Under policy elements, you need to create TACACS profiles. TACACS profiles for support engineers and for support staff. For support staff, I have created one TACACS profile with provided as a default privilege 0 and maximum 15, and I have provided over here some custom attributes. So firewall, Palo Alto Firewall support custom attributes for ISE. So I have provided the name Palo Alto admin role. The value over here I have given is support. So this support name is the same one that we created the admin role over here for the support user. You can see over here. This is the name that we are putting over here in, with the Palo Alto admin role under the value. So this is the custom attribute for Palo Alto Firewall to provide the role-based access control on ISE. This is for support account, and one we have another one which is for engineer. So for engineer, we are defining the admin role as security admin. So security admin is already created as a profile over here. So we have mapped to Palo Alto mandatory role security admin. Then you also need to create TACACS command sets. So command set is basically to define the commands, but we are not providing any specific command. It does not support. So basically we are providing it with the command that permit any command that is not listed below. So you need to only check this box over here. Then similarly for network engineers, security engineers, permit any command that is not listed below. So that's how you can do the basic stuff over here. Then move on to the device admin policy sets. First we need to create a policy with the name of Palo Alto Networks Lab. We are creating with this, and the conditions that you need to provide over here, that to any request coming for the device admin, it will see the policies. Based on policies, it will try to match. So first thing is the device location should be equal to Palo Alto Networks. Peanut Lab, Palo Alto Networks. We have added the firewall onto this group. So inside this policy, you will have authentication and authorization policies. Under authentication policy, I have defined that Palo Alto Firewall should have the incoming request device should have the IP address of 192.168.137. It should be 108. So if this condition is matched based on the incoming request, so it will this policy will be matched. Okay, it's 108. And the internal users, then it comes to the authorization policy. Under authorization policies, we have two policies. One is for support staff and one is for engineers. So inside support staff, I have two conditions. One is it should be Palo Alto Firewall, and the second is if these both conditions match, then you have to proceed for the security support staff. This is this group that we created for the relevant support staff user. So if both conditions match, then it will proceed further. So if this condition is matched, based on this configuration, you assign the command set as Palo Alto security support that we created, and shell profile it will assign Palo Alto Firewall security support, where we have a mandatory custom attribute against the Palo Alto Firewall. Similarly, for network engineers, the device should be Palo Alto Firewall, and the group should be security engineers group, and the user should belong to the security engineers group. And similarly, allow it for the command sets of the Palo Alto Firewall engineers, and shell profile is Palo Alto engineers profile, where we assign the role of security admin under the mandatory attributes of the Palo Alto Firewall inside ISE. So that's how you can use these configurations for the configuration of role-based access control. Now we will move on to the testing scenario. So this is the firewall, and I have applied the changes. You can see over here, successful. Now I will try to access the firewall from another browser, and we will see that what the firewall, what is the behavior of the firewall. We are able to log in or not. It's 192.168.137.108 using HTTPS. Security engineer. The password we created is, we have to use the same password that we provided on ISE. So invalid. Let me check the exact name. Identities. Security engineer. So the name is invalid. We will need to check the system logs on the firewall. So we will see what is the issue. Failed authentication, user security engineer is an invalid username and password auth profile Cisco auth was shared. Okay. So over here you see over here some errors are there, so we need to check what is the issue. Authentication failed, shell profile deny access. Palo Alto networks 108. Okay. Work center, network resources, Palo Alto Firewall, location, peanut lab, save. We can try it now. So after troubleshooting, because I created these policies earlier when the firewall has having some different IP address, so now the firewall is changed to the IP address of 108. So over here in the authentication policy on the firewall, I have this rule created condition with the previous IP address, which is 36. So we need to change this IP address from 36 to 108. So that's why we were not able to access or authenticate use. So this is the IP address now. And then in the authorization policy, I think in this object I have, yeah, over here we also having the same IP. We need to change it to 108. Save, use, and in the second for security engineers also should be 108. Save. So I tried to locate the error from here, so it was matching to the default deny shell profile, that's why. So because of the IP issue, it was not matching to that particular policy. So now we will try to access and we'll monitor the system logs on the firewall and also on ISE. Security engineer and password. So you can see over here we are able to log in, and on Palo Alto Firewall we will have some log over here for authentication. You can see over here authentication success, authentication for user security engineer profile Cisco AAA auth with the ISE on 37.20 admin role security admin. You can see over here on ISE as well. Let me refresh it. You can see over here authorization authentication successful, and we are able to log in. So now I will show you the support engineer login as well, so that we have the verification that we only see the relevant security role that we created on Palo Alto Firewall for support admin. Log out, log in, and the username I need to check it again. Identities, security support, login, credentials, live logs, Palo Alto Firewall logs. You can see over here we are successfully logged in, but we will see that it is assigning the support admin role over here. You can see on Palo Alto Firewall we have a successful log for the login, but yeah, you can see over here we are only having the 3 tabs: dashboard, ACC, and monitor. So this is how you can perform role-based access control on Palo Alto Firewall with Cisco Identity Service Engine.